How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, January 14th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to walk you through yesterday's elite performances and matchups from Wednesday, January 13th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today because we are approaching the weekend and it looks to be a good one. Starting off with the NBA with the mainstream games that were on TV last night, starting in Brooklyn. Scratch that, Manhattan. The New York Knicks hosted the Brooklyn Nets, and the Nets were able to beat the Knicks 116-109 after outscoring the Knicks by 15 in the second quarter and using that lead to carry them through the end of the game. For the New York Knicks, off the bench, their shooting guard Emmanuel Quickley would finish with 19 points and 3 assists in 22 minutes, shooting 7 for 15 from the field. Their starting shooting guard, R.J. Barrett out of Duke, would finish with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 7 for 15 from the field in 38 minutes. Go Duke. And then the Knicks' leading scorer was their starting power forward, Julius Randle, who finished with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in 40 minutes, shooting 13 for 25 from the field. And then for the Brooklyn Nets, their starting shooting guard, Bruce Brown, would finish with 15 points and 14 rebounds in 30 minutes, shooting 6 for 13 from the field. Their starting small forward, Joe Harris, would finish with 15 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists in 26 minutes, shooting 6 for 13 from the field and 3 for 8 from 3. And the Nets' leading scorer was their goated power forward, Kevin Durant, who would finish with 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks in 30 minutes, shooting 10 for 18 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the line. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets are currently 7-6, which is the 6th best record in the East. And with this loss, the Knicks are now 5-7, which ties them with the Cavs for the 11th best record in the East. Jumping out to the other mainstream game of the night in Los Angeles and Staples Center, the Clippers hosted the Pelicans, and the Clippers were able to beat the Pelicans 111-106 after outscoring the Pelicans by 18 in the second quarter and taking a big lead at the end of the first half. The Pelicans just couldn't come back, and the Clippers were able to get a big win at home. For the New Orleans Pelicans, their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, out of Virginia Tech, who would finish with 37 points and 8 rebounds in 33 minutes, shooting 15 for 23 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the line. And their elite small forward, Brandon Ingram, would finish with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in 38 minutes, shooting 8 for 19 from the field and 6 for 6 from the line. And then for the Los Angeles Clippers, their elite shooting guard, Paul George, would finish with 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 38 minutes, shooting 8 for 16 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then their goated small forward, Kawhi Leonard, would finish with 28 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals in 39 minutes, shooting 8 for 18 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and then 10 for 11 from the free throw line. With this win, the Los Angeles Clippers are currently sitting at 8-4, which is the second best record in the Western Conference. And then with this loss, the New Orleans Pelicans are currently 4-6, which is the 13th best record, or the third worst record in the entire Western Conference. The Atlanta-Phoenix game got postponed, but of course, moving around that game, jumping to Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets hosted the Dallas Mavericks, and the Mavericks were able to beat the Hornets 104-93, especially after outscoring the Hornets by 16 in the first quarter. For the Charlotte Hornets, their starting small forward, Gordon Hayward, would finish with 16 points and 4 rebounds in 27 minutes, shooting 5 for 15 from the field and 3 for 6 from 3. Their starting power forward, P.J. Washington, would finish with 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists in 32 minutes, as he shot 6 for 17 from the field in that time. And then their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard, Terry Rozier. Scary Terry would finish with 18 points and 6 rebounds in 36 minutes, shooting 8 for 18 from the field and 2 for 5 from 3. For the Dallas Mavericks, their starting power forward, Kristaps Porzingis, would finish with 16 points and 4 rebounds, as well as 2 blocks in 21 minutes, shooting 6 for 16 from the field and 4 for 9 from 3. Their starting small forward, Tim Hardaway Jr., would finish with 18 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals in 33 minutes, shooting 7 for 16 from the field. And then their leading scorer was their elite point guard, Luka Doncic, who would lead all scorers in the game with 34 points while adding 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks in 35 minutes, shooting 14 for 25 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. With this win, the Dallas Mavericks are now 6-4, which is the sixth best record in the West. And with this loss, the Charlotte Hornets are currently sitting at 6-6, which is currently the seventh best record in the Eastern Conference. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Pistons hosted their division rivals, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks were able to beat the Pistons 110-101 after outscoring the Pistons by 14 in the first quarter and more than doubling their score and carrying that momentum to the end of the game. For the Detroit Pistons, their shooting guard off the bench, Svi McCulloch out of Kansas, would finish with 18 points in 18 minutes, shooting 6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And the Pistons' leading scorer was their starting small forward, Jeremy Grant, who'd finish with 22 points and 4 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 35 minutes, shooting 7 for 19 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the line. And their elite power forward, Blake Griffin, would finish with 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in 32 minutes, shooting 4 for 9 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the line. For the Milwaukee Bucks, their starting point guard, Drew Holiday, would finish with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in 37 minutes, shooting 8 for 13 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the free throw line. And their leading scorer was their elite power forward, back-to-back MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, who would finish with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, finishing with 2 steals and 3 blocks as well, shooting 7 for 15 from the field in 33 minutes, 2 for 5 from 3, and then 6 for 10 from the free throw line. With this win, the Milwaukee Bucks are 8-4, which ties them with the Sixers for the second best record in the East. And with this loss, the Detroit Pistons are now 2-9, sitting at the very bottom with the worst record in the East. Going out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Timberwolves hosted the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies were able to beat the Timberwolves 118-107 after outscoring the Timberwolves by 21 in the fourth quarter after coming into the quarter down 10. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, their starting shooting guard Malik Beasley would lead the team in scoring. He had 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 34 minutes, shooting 11 for 23 from the field and 4 for 11 from 3. Their elite starting shooting guard D'Angelo Russell would finish with 25 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in 36 minutes, shooting 10 for 21 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. And then their elite starting center, Karl Anthony Towns, would finish with 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists in 34 minutes, shooting 8 for 17 from the field and 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Looking at how the Memphis Grizzlies fared, off the bench, their shooting guard out of USC, DeAnthony Melton, would finish with 15 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 25 minutes, shooting 7 for 12 from the field. And then also off the bench, their shooting guard Grayson Allen out of Duke, go Duke, would finish with 20 points, 2 assists, and 2 steals, as well as 2 blocks in 26 minutes, shooting 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and then 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Their starting power forward, Brandon Clark, would finish with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in 34 minutes, shooting 9 for 5 from the field. And then their leading scorer was their starting center, Jonas Valanciunas, who'd finished with 24 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 30 minutes, shooting 11 for 19 from the field. With this win, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 5-6, which has them sitting alongside the Denver Nuggets and the OKC Thunder with the 9th best record in the West. And then with this loss, the Timberwolves are now 3-8, which sits them at the very bottom of the West as it stands. Looking out to Oklahoma City, the Thunder hosted the defending champions, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Lakers were able to pull off the 128-99 win after outscoring the Thunder in all 4 quarters. For the OKC Thunder in this matchup, their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who finished with 17 points, 2 rebounds, and shooting 5 for 12 from the field in 27 minutes, as well as 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then for the Los Angeles Lakers, off the bench, their center Montrezl Harrell would finish with 21 points and 6 rebounds in 25 minutes, shooting 8 for 12 from the field and 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Their elite power forward, Anthony Davis, would finish with 18 points and 7 rebounds in 25 minutes, shooting 8 for 13 from the field. 0 for 1 from 3 and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And then their goated small forward, LeBron James, would be the Lakers' leading scorer as he finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in 27 minutes, shooting 9 for 20 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and then 3 for 4 from the free throw line. With this win, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 10-3, which is the best record in the West, the best record in the East. They are the first team to double-digit wins on the season. And with this loss, the OKC Thunder are tied with the Grizzlies and the Nuggets for the 9th best record in the West at 5-6. And I think, and then jumping to the last game of the night into Sacramento, because there were a couple other games that were postponed, one of them being in DC, as the Wizards were supposed to host the Jazz. The Celtics were supposed to host the Magic yesterday too, but that game got postponed. And then those are the two games. Those are the two big ones. But last but not least, jumping out to Sacramento, the Kings hosted the Trailblazers. And after trailing by 5 going into the fourth quarter, the Blazers were able to outscore the Kings by 11 in the fourth quarter in order to get their 7th win of the season. For the Sacramento Kings, off the bench, their first-round pick, Tyrese Halliburton, would finish with 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists in 31 minutes, shooting 7 for 10 from the field and 3 for 4 from the three-point line. Their starting center, Richaun Holmes, would finish with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists in 35 minutes, shooting 6 for 6 from the field and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, Buddy Hield, would finish with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in 38 minutes, shooting 9 for 21 from the field and 8 for 18 from 3. And then their leading scorer was their starting point guard, De'Aaron Fox, out of Kentucky, who would finish with 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in 36 minutes, shooting 9 for 18 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the free throw line. And then for the Portland Trailblazers, off the bench, their shooting guard, Gary Trent Jr. out of Duke, go Duke. He would finish with 16 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals in 23 minutes, shooting 6 for 8 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3. Their starting center, Jusuf Nurkic, would finish with 18 points and 12 rebounds, as well as 2 steals and 3 blocks in 30 minutes, shooting 6 for 8 from the field and 6 for 9 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, CJ McCollum, would finish with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 10 assists in 43 minutes, shooting 10 for 23 from the field, 6 for 16 from the three-point line, and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. And the Portland Trailblazers' leading scorer would be their elite point guard, Damian Lillard, who would finish with 40 points, 13 assists, and 3 steals. I'll repeat that. He had 40 points, 13 assists, and 3 steals in 42 minutes, shooting 11 for 23 from the field, 6 for 5 from 3, and he made all 12 of his free throw attempts. With this win, the Portland Trailblazers are now 7-4, which ties them with the Jazz and the Suns for the 3rd best record in the Western Conference. And with this loss, the Sacramento Kings are now 5-7, which places them at 12th in the entire Western Conference as it stands. Looking forward to today's matchups as to what the NBA is going to look like today. The mainstream games are going to be on TNT at 7:30. The 6-5 Spurs are going to host the 3-6 Houston Rockets. James Harden was originally slotted to be on the Rockets when this game was scheduled. Now he's not. He was moved to the Brooklyn Nets overnight, and I'm probably going to do another piece on that when I get back to school. And then at 10 o'clock, the 5-6 Denver Nuggets are going to host the 6-5 Golden State Warriors. Like I said, both games are going to be on TNT, one after the other. And outside of those games, the 8-4 Philadelphia 76ers are going to host the 4-5 Miami Heat at 7 o'clock. The 2-8 Raptors are going to host the 6-6 Hornets at 7:30. And then the 7-4 Trailblazers are going to host the 7-4 Indiana Pacers tonight at 10 o'clock as well. Looking out into college basketball to show you what's been going on with that schedule, going down the list of rankings. 4th-ranked Texas hosted 15th-ranked Texas Tech, and 15th-ranked Texas Tech was able to beat Texas 79-77 after outscoring Texas by 12 in the second half. Kevin McCullough will lead the way for Texas Tech as he finished with 16 points, and Mac McClung, the YouTube sensation, high school phenom, would actually get the game-winning shot for Texas Tech. With this win, Texas Tech is now 11-3, and they are now 4-2 in the Big 12. And with this loss, Texas is now 10-2 as they drop to 4-1 in the Big 12. 16th-ranked Louisville was able to beat unranked Wake Forest 77-65 as Carlick Jones led the way, especially with Louisville taking that 12-point lead in the first half and keeping it even in the second half. With this win, Louisville is now 9-1 as they increase to 4-0 in the ACC, and Wake Forest is now 3-4 as they still have yet to win a game in the ACC. They are now 0-4 in the conference. 18th ranked Virginia hosted unranked Notre Dame, and they were able to beat them 80-68. That 12-point deficit coming in the first half, and just like Louisville, keeping an even second half, just coasting with that victory. Jay Huff would be the leading scorer for UVA as he had 18 points and 5 rebounds. With this win, UVA is now 8-2 as their ACC record increases to 4-0, and with this loss, Notre Dame is now 3-8 as their ACC record drops to 0-5. And the last ranked game of the night, the 21st ranked Ohio State Buckeyes were able to beat unranked Northwestern 81-71 after outscoring them by 9 in the first half. Dwayne Washington would be the leading scorer for Ohio State as he had 23 points and 6 assists. With this win, Ohio State is now 10-3 as their Big Ten record increases to 4-3. With this loss, Northwestern is now 6-5 as their Big Ten record drops to 3-4. Looking out to what's going on today. The only ranked game that's going to happen will be at 9:00 as first-ranked Gonzaga will host unranked Pepperdine on ESPN. So that'll be the big matchup on that standpoint. And then last but not least, looking to what happened with soccer yesterday, because there was a good amount to go around. Starting in the Premier League, Manchester City was able to beat Brighton and Hove 1-0 as their young English midfielder Phil Foden would get the only goal in the 44th minute that would push them through. With this win, Manchester City is now sitting 4 games behind Manchester United and 1 game behind Liverpool with 1 less game played than both. So they have a chance to make a play for the top of the table. And also Tottenham Hotspur was able to draw with Fulham 1-1 as Tottenham Hotspur's only goal came from their elite English striker Harry Kane in the 75th minute. Fulham's goal will come in the 74th. And with this draw, they are now currently sitting at 6th in the table as they are 6 points out of first place as it currently stands. And then looking at the German DFB Pokal, which is the German domestic cup, Bayern Munich, like the reigning Bundesliga champions, the reigning treble winners, one of the trebles being the DFB Pokal, they lost in this round to a team that was in the second tier league of Germany. They lost in penalty kicks. They lost 6-5. Both for Bayern Munich, their goals would come from their elite wingers. Their elite wingers, Serge Gnabry and Leroy Sané. But Holstein Kiel would be the team that would end up victorious, getting a very big win, especially with their second goal coming in the 95th minute on the very last possession, which would lead them into penalties and which would lead them to a very historic win for their franchise's history over quite arguably the best soccer team in the world right now. Also in the Italian Coppa Italia, Inter Milan was able to beat Fiorentina 2-1 as their second goal came from their elite Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku. Juventus was able to beat Genoa 3-2 in extra time as their last goal came in the 104th minute after Genoa scored both their goals after Juventus scored their first 2. In the Spanish Supercopa, Barcelona would advance past Real Sociedad after both teams drew at 1. Barcelona's only goal in regular time would come from their elite Dutch midfielder Frenkie de Jong. Barcelona would advance 3-2 on penalties following this win. And then in the French Trophée des Champions, PSG was able to beat Marseille 2-1 as their second goal came from their elite Brazilian attacker Neymar on the penalty kick, and that would give them what they needed to put them through to the next round. And that's pretty much what yesterday was. It was Premier League with a mix of their domestic cups. Looking forward to today. In the Spanish Supercopa, Real Madrid's going to face off against Athletic Bilbao at 3:00. That's the only really big soccer game that's going on today. And of course, as sports continue to go on throughout their seasons, I'm going to navigate you day by day. But with that said, I want to thank you once again for listening to my 19-minute piece. Today is Thursday, January 4th, 2021 out here in this quarantine. And I want to thank everyone who listened to my piece. Once again, I hope all is well, and I will catch you tomorrow with yet another piece. Thanks once again, and peace out.